Hello, old school comics review. Today I want to look at Batman: The Dark Knight Strikes Again by Frank Miller. Actually, by Frank Miller and Lynn Varley. The whole reason, well, this isn't really an old comic. This came out in like 2002, I think, 2001, 2002, something like that. And the whole thing that got me interested in thinking about this comic again is because DC Comics announced that Frank Miller and Jim Lee are going to finish their story they started in All Star Batman and Robin. And I think it's going to be called something like I don't know, Dark Knight and Boy Wonder, or something goofy like that. Dark Knight, All Star Dark Knight and Boy Wonder, or Dark Knight Boy Wonder, Dark Knight Robin, something like that. And I'll just state my bias up front. You know, I was a little bit disappointed in their run on All Star Batman and Robin, but it made me think about this comic again because I think some of the ideas and themes that he was trying to get at in that particular story, I think Frank did a little bit more successfully in this one. So I think I just want to talk about it. I'm going to try to make a case for it. Basically, the story is, well, it begins where Batman's believed to be dead. Lex Luthor and Brainiac have basically taken over America and turned America into a police state. Most of the superheroes are either captured or missing, or they're underground, or they've been blackmailed into working for the government. And Batman and his sidekick Carrie, who was Robin in Dark Knight Returns, and she's Catgirl here, they kind of gather up some of the missing and captured heroes to get them to rebel against the state. Now, meanwhile, there's this kind of trend going of like celebrity superhero impersonators, or there's some sort of pop group or something like that called the Super Chicks, and they've kind of become media darlings, and the general population slowly starts accepting the idea of the return of heroes, and they learn to stand up for themselves. And, you know, there's a multitude of like talking head media figures and random man in the street interviews that kind of comment on the story as it happens. Now, the art here is very, very, very interesting. The art and the visual storytelling. The story's really fast moving. There's lots of action. It's told with lots of cutaway scenes, but it's never confusing. The pacing is steady. The layouts are always clear. You can always tell what's going on. Frank's art is really strongly, I think, Kirby influenced here, but not to the point where it's like an imitation of his style. All the figures are really big, and they're thick and blocky, and the action scenes are all very big and grand. I think he mostly works with a lot of really thick and simple heavy lines to define, different shapes and figures. And sometimes, although he kind of uses kind of a scratchy style as well, and I'm not too sure if that's Frank trying to bring in a little, Joe Kubert, or if he's channeling an old manga, or what is it? What was that one series? Lone Wolf and Cub or something like that, or maybe he's channeling something else I'm not too familiar with. Frank also plays around with a lot of cartoon styles and caricature, and I know that this aspect actually put a lot of people off of the work, but personally I think it kind of enhances the story. Basically accentuates the whole kind of like anything can happen, anything goes feel of the universe. That the stories, that the characters inhabit. So, you see parodies and characters of everyone from like, Chris Matthews to George Stephanopoulos, Ashcroft, Don Imus, a variety of different people. The colors by Lynn Varley are wonderful. I think they're really marvelous. Even though, Frank draws figures in shadow a lot of the time, Lynn's colors are really dazzling and striking to me anyway. And I think kind of the point here was, I think on one hand they're trying to invoke the kind of like simple colors of like the Silver Age, but also kind of make them a little bit more sophisticated and sophisticated, and bring it in into the 21st century. There's lots of blended hues, lots of interesting washes. There's some computer aided effects, and it helps the storytelling along. Once again, bring you into that universe, and it's part of hits at the story's main theme that superheroes should be bright and exciting and bold, And that gets to my next point, which is I think the main idea that Frank was trying to get at is, kind of like the story is about the return of heroes, and the idea is that heroes are people that are, big and inspiring, and they make you feel, awe and fear and all these big, grand, melodramatic emotions. That heroes should not be, small and petty type people. I think I remember reading somewhere back in the, or some years ago, where Frank Miller said that uh, heroes should be, we should never forget that these are people in tights. He says, I'm a little bit tired of reading about the Flash and his marriage. I want to see the Flash run fast. And I think that's what this is about. Now, I also think you get the idea that heroes are and should be, above the rest of us, but also the idea that not just that they inspire us, but also that they are better than us. In the beginning of the story, Superman's kind of portrayed as a has-been. He's portrayed as weak, and the reason he's weak, it's not just that because he bows down to authority, but also because he kind of humbles himself before common folk who are really beneath him. And Batman is seen as like the badass hero, cause sure, he's smart and he's potent and he's confident. But, he doesn't have to follow rules because, hey, he's smarter than you, he's tougher than you, and the rules are for the common man, and you can't make him follow the rules. So I think all in all, his objective here was to give us kind of a different type of Batman story. I know initially me, and I'm with a lot of other people, kind of expected a continuation of, Dark Knight Returns or Batman Year One, that kind of gritty, quote-unquote realistic Batman. And I think with this story, he went in the complete opposite direction. This was Frank Miller playing with a bright, colorful superhero universe, playing around with the DC heroes. This is like his twisted take through the Silver Age in a way. It's almost like his crazy, almost crazy campy version of that. There's lots of humor going on, there's lots of satire, and it kind of, I think he was trying to contrast with the ideal, once again, that were coming out a lot of comics at that particular time, and they're still be doing today, where people are trying to make superheroes more and more human. I think he was trying to make them larger than life, while at the same time kind of satirizing things that were going on in early 21st century American society at the time. He's poking fun at the oversaturated media landscape that we deal with. He's poking fun with the cult of celebrity, poking fun a little bit at, kind of the laziness and apathy of, the masses and the common man. So, that's basically it. Please let me know what you think, because like I said, I think these are some of the ideas he was kind of trying to hit with All-Star Batman and Robin, but I think he just kind of missed in a little way. And I think this is a lot better as a work of art, and I basically enjoy it more just as a fan of Batman character and as a fan of Frank Miller. So let me know what you think. Thanks a lot, and you have a good one. All right, thanks.